Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rico,
I'm Tony.
and this is the podcast known as Relatively Sound, the podcast where nothing ever happens. Today, Tony and I are back with our album for album series. Just in case you don't know what the series is, since we do get some new subscribers every now and again. Tony and I, every other week, we give each other an album that the other person has never listened to before. So last week, Tony gave me the album Porno for Pyros, their debut. And the week before that, I had given him a Spoon album he never heard before, Transference. So
I'm
this
still
week,
recovering from that.
yeah, we decided no more Spoon for Tony in the future. This week, it is my turn to give Tony an album he's never heard before. And we're going to talk about a band that I think we've only mentioned a couple times on the podcast before, but we've never dedicated a whole album to them. We're going to be talking about the band Talking Heads, and Tony is going to be giving their third studio album, Fear of Music, a listen for the first time. Now, Tony, why don't you just tell everyone what is your experience with Talking Heads?
Yeah, so the Talking Heads, or Talking Heads, I don't think they go by the Talking Heads.
There's no the.
Apologies. I know Remain in Light. That's the album I know best from them. And I know some of the stuff from Speaking in Tongues, but I'm not super familiar with it. I mean, of course, I know Psycho Killer. What's that other big one of theirs? This is something about life. Is that from Speaking in Tongues? This must be the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from. So,
One of my favorite songs of all time, by the way.
which I don't understand. So, yeah, Talking Heads, they're a band that I think they're cool. I respect them. Remain in Light, I actually do really like a lot. Every song on there I enjoy. And even some of the bonus tracks from like the deluxe editions are pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, so Rico, you really like this band. I don't really know why you really like them. They just don't really seem to match the brands of the other bands that you listen to. Um, I mean, the only thing I could really see is I could see you liking David Byrne is the singer's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Main guy. I can kind of see you liking his inflection because I know someone like Gord Downey and stuff kind of is a little over the top and like kind of pronounces things kind of funny, but just kind of delivers them in a unique way. So I could maybe see that, but I don't know. I mean, I would imagine Talking Heads are a little bit more experimental, I guess. That's kind of what I would think. They're a little bit new wavy maybe at times.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to not be the biggest fan of new wave, and as I mentioned maybe before in this podcast, I'm not the biggest fan of production from like the 80s. That said, this album that we're talking about today, Fear Music, came out in '79. But yeah, there's something about Talking Heads I really enjoy. I think a lot of that, like you said, does come from lead singer David Byrne. But I also think that the instrumentation, the musicianship, is just fantastic. I mean, they always have great bass lines, drums are always grooving. They're kind of a nice mix between like new wave, rock, pop, sometimes even a little funk. They're a little out there sometimes, and I think that's kind of why I like them. Like a lot of the bands and musicians I like are pretty kind of straightforward. And the reason I chose this album is because this is the album that comes before Remain in Light. And I think it shows the band kind of going towards that Remain in Light sound. And I decided, like, okay, if you like this album, if you like Remain in Light, you probably will like a good amount of this album. Enough said. Are you ready for this reaction?
Throw me in there.
All right, let's get it. The theory was that there was the idea for Fear of Music. The title was that you replace the word music with the song titles on the album. So Fear of Paper, which is a song on the album, Fear of Mind, which is also a song on the album, Fear of Drugs, Fear of Animals.
Fear of Zimbra.
Well, yeah, that's why really the theory breaks apart a little bit.
All right, let's hit it. It's kind of like the fast, rhythmic kind of loop type of thing. I expected from what I know of them. The slides are fun. Okay, this is kind of a cool chord change. I wasn't expecting that. Makes me think of Yes a little bit. Kind of specific, but Bass slides as well. Group vocals, again, kind of what I would think about for Talking Heads. I should give you King Crimson after this. I think that's what I'll have to do. Because I'm seeing some similarities. And you're going to say you hate it, but I'll hold you accountable. Alright, cheesy riff. Okay, interesting tone. I don't know what I'm hearing, but that's okay.
Fear of tones.
I do like that little little high pitched noise thing. A little catchy hook. As an opener, I mean, I think it's a good opener because it's kind of like, all right, what I'm about to hear is probably a little bit progressive. It's going to be really instrumental based. There wasn't really too much structure with the song, more dynamics. I know there was a couple chord changes, but it is kind of it's not a very straightforward song. Like it almost is because it's kind of like, here's this plate of food, this is everything you're getting, but also it's kind of just like, it's not chorus verse.
It's not a traditional pop rock song.
Yeah,
it has elements, but it's not all the way there.
Does it even have elements?
Well, I mean, like it has catchy melodies and hooks, and it's got like a dance type rhythm to it.
Yeah, I said yes earlier, but no, that felt like a King Crimson song, actually.
Well, would you be surprised to hear that
Let me guess.
Robert Fripp is on the song?
All right, well, there you go. My Fripp senses are surprisingly good. So, all right, well, I'm curious now what the next songs are going to be. Let's go track 2 now. Mind. This is like the shit I do when I'm like jamming, just improvising and want to troll people. Just a long chromatic run. I like that lead now, like the little clean arpeggio. Okay, I like the measures of 2. I'm a fan of that. A lot going on with this song. You have like these very synthy synths, cheesy noises, have weird keyboard sounds. This is where shit got really weird. Interesting transition. I didn't really like it the first time. It was a little bit better that time. Trying to get my head wrapped around it. I don't know if I love this part, honestly. The chorus is kind of catchy, but it kind of suffers from "this is the chorus." Okay, I like that lyric. I like the bass slides on this part, for sure. Alright, little solo action. That's something I would do, that little, just bend, double stop bend. Oh, okay, I like that little rhythmic.
That the guitar?
Yeah. Okay, so, alright. I am not quite sure how I feel about that song.
Mixed bag song so far?
It is a mixed bag song for me so far. I appreciate some of the stuff going on for sure, and it is cool, but I'm not sure how much I actually enjoy it on a listening standpoint. Like, I don't really care for that long chromatic run and that, like, kind of main verse part. I don't really also love the little synth, just wow, that comes in kind of later. Like, between that and him doing it on the vocals, that's a bit much. I did like the bass slides. I think what makes these songs interesting and that there's a lot of decoration, a lot going on with them. But I also think that sometimes kind of takes away from it. I don't know. I'm also, once again, I'm going to kind of hassle you about this. I mean, I feel like right now we're getting a lot of instrumental music. That's the focus of it. And we're not getting a lot of super, outwardly strong lyrics. The first song was basically to you, someone that cares about the lyrics, basically an instrumental.
Well, let's get to the next song titled Paper.
So you should think about See No Evil from Television.
Television is a comparison they get compared to a lot. Okay,
my radar is kind of on fire today. I feel like this might be a little Bowie-esque, kind of.
I can hear that.
Yeah, there's the white guy funk, as you called it, in the strumming. Pretty loud bass in this one, I feel like. You hear pretty loud. Crazy rising run on that on bass. This is my favorite part.
Yeah, I love this guitar, the tone and the riff.
Curious what these rays are. If it's, well, I imagine it's sort of like symbolism. Yeah, okay, I think that was probably... It's tough because I didn't really love kind of some of the other sections in it, but I like that main part. I like that kind of dumb rising chromatic bass part. That's kind of fun. I also do like how the vocals feel really half-assed to me. Kind of like nonchalant. I think that can be fun in a song. I mean, that's like Lil B's whole rap career, which is pretty funny. So, yeah, I like too that the lyrics. I feel like I'm trying to make a little bit of an effort here to maybe look into them. I'm a little bit more invested with these lyrics than maybe the other song, even though I did like that line about science can't change you. So, what is your little analysis here?
Well, I'm taking this from the Talking Heads podcast that Adam Scott and Scott Ackerman did, where they went through each album and each song. The podcast kind of helped me get a little bit more into Talking Heads. They said that, I think from maybe an interview that David Byrne did, he mentioned how he always found it interesting with a piece of paper. It's an object, right? Just like anything, like this microphone, like this laptop. But you can write on the paper, but when you hold it up to the light, you can see through it. And you can still see what's written on the paper. And he just found that concept kind of like mind-boggling to him.
Wow, you should get this guy like a Rubik's Cube or something. He'll be busy all day.
Before I heard that and I just like listened to the song, I thought he was referencing paper as like money. You know how some people refer to money as like paper, like, get that paper.
Yeah.
But reading through the lyrics, it's like, yeah, I don't think it's about
Were they
that.
saying that in '79?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a newer slang.
I like that thought
slang.
though. I think that could be a cool. I like that take on it though. All right.
Yeah.
Next song is Cities. This is very dancey. Slow fade in. We got the chromatic bass line. Didn't love that chord change. Keep going with it. There we go. That dominant chord, I like that. I don't have this song figured out. That little 3 chord of that group of 3 minor chords sound pretty sweet together. Little minor blues sounding. Harmonizer on it? Sounds like he's trying to start like a little shitty bike. There's like kind of like a tremolo sound, a little keyboard part in the back, I think. I don't know if that's new for this verse. I didn't notice it before. I hate that ascending chord part there. I like this part on, I think. Chord progression wise.
What about when it goes back to this part right here?
I didn't like it at first, but I think it's fine.
It's growing on you.
Yeah, it's growing on me.
Here we go,
First,
Tony. What is
nauseum question mark?
I was just about to say it.
Yeah, we still got 40 more seconds. He's gonna commit. He's doubling down. Okay, yeah, that was an interesting one. There was some.
You're gonna say that for every song.
So I think with most of these songs, there's things I like, and there's also things that I can respect. As a songwriter, as a fan of technical stuff as well. But I don't know if everyone worked for me. Let me get out of the way. All this really rhythmic strumming is kind of just a whatever to me. It feels very loose, which is fine. But I don't know. Between that and these kind of more like, not like disco drum beats, but I don't know if I'm really loving all of this kind of dancey vibe. Yeah, I think with this one lyrically, it is kind of more like we're talking about with Born Under Punches, where it's more about the delivery of the lines and kind of the buzzwords, which is fine. I'm a fan of that. I think that can be pretty cool. No problems there. Maybe the most dynamic vocal performance yet, which I think is good. Kind of hearing this one, maybe kind of realize the other ones are maybe not as exciting as I initially thought. Maybe lyrically with this one, he was just absolutely blown away that there's different time zones, and he's like, "I'm gonna find some place with the optimal time zone for me." I'm convinced it's not fear of music; it's fear of the unknown or something. Like he's learning everything on this album.
Well, yeah, let's get into it. Life during wartime.
This is already kind of giving me vibes of what is it? This kind of feels like Remain in Light. I like the rhythmic strumming on this one a little more, like the simple little thing, but feels intentional. I would disagree with that. And these cheesy little yeah in the vocals. I feel like he's hitting all the tropes you would hate in vocals, man. Is he like trying to escape being like drafted or some shit like that? Okay, now it's a Police song. I don't know if those two parts go together. I don't know if that guitar really fits there. That is square peg, round hole. And they're not taking it out. They're keeping it. Lovely. That offbeat guitar is not growing on me. Is it fading?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? I was not expecting that fade. That was crazy.
Well, yeah, because there was like so many lyrics still on the screen.
Yeah, they didn't just like go to the chorus and then fade it from there.
Yeah, no chorus ad
repeat.
nauseum this time.
Yeah, no, it was kind of verse ad nauseum for a minute, but all right. I feel like you're gonna say this is one people really like, but I don't know. It was kind of forgettable to me. I
will say this is not especially out of all these songs so far on this album, it's like the least dynamic. But I think people, myself included, just love it for like his performance, the lyrics. I mean, it's like this guy on like the run, but you don't know from what. It's almost got like he's like wanted by like the FBI or some shit, and he's like changing his hairstyle. He's getting a visa with different names on it.
I mean, definitely the most interesting lyrically for sure. I'm that is not gone unseen.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those songs where if you like the groove, you love the song. I love the groove. I love the song. Seems like the groove to you you're kind of indifferent towards it. And
yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad or anything like that. I did not like though that offbeat guitar that I said a couple times. But I mean, the main groove isn't bad or anything. I just feel like because we already had probably at least 2 or 3 other grooves so far in this record that were definitely at least more interesting in particular. We're not saying necessarily better. I don't know. Yeah, and this song didn't really go anywhere. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe I'll just kind of lock in a little more. It was a pretty good vocal performance. Pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if he needed to do all those woo kind of like little high pitched.
No, that's like my favorite part of the vocals.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to that down the road.
All right. Well, this next song I think you might know. This next song is titled "Memories Can Wait."
There's okay. I was gonna mention there's a Living Color song called that.
I'm sorry. Memories Can't Wait. I fucked up the title. My bad.
This is a little bit like. Excuse me. All right, okay. Like this really sounds like the Living Color cover. Yeah. 79.
Yeah, this is the original.
Yeah, I don't want to say it backwards. I don't want to mess that up. That's a Tom Morello ass little lead. That sounds like Down Rodeo.
Yeah.
Like, this part is such a good riff.
Like the main part or the little...
Both. Like, the little call and answer, the ascending with the vocals. I think that's a good use of chromaticism. Not as egregious as maybe some of the others on this record. Mm. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is a good little outro, bridge outro. Yeah, okay. So I'm trying not to compare it too much to the cover right now. I'm trying to take it at face value here. That being said, I'm gonna compare it right away to the Living Color. I feel like the production on this one maybe kind of holds the song back. I think there is a lot of changes here in sections, kind of riffs and stuff, and I just wish it was a little bit more pronounced. But I just think some of just the actual production itself, maybe the guitar tones and stuff, but also like there was kind of like I don't know if it was like kind of like a fake string sound going on.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be maybe more atmospheric, but I don't know if I wanted the song to necessarily be like that. I think the riffs and progression strong enough as is. That little outro part's pretty dope. It feels like a good outro. It feels really like kind of triumphant in a way. Like it feels earned, which I think is good. I think when a song has a good payout, it really takes a song to the next level. Lyrics too, because I'm trying to give some focus on that. I like the first verse a lot. It's probably my favorite. I'm sleeping, I'm flat on my back, never woke up, had no regrets. Like I feel like that's a pretty cool, common kind of image, and especially for him, this guy who's just thinking on this album. I feel like every song is him just kind of thinking, picking his own brain. I think that's fitting. And once again, why is he talking about partying all the damn time, dude? This guy still in college or something? Yeah. So we're adding that to we already added that to the list to listen to. Never mind. All right.
What do you mean?
This and Television. We gotta show you those songs after. I feel like
so you sound like you prefer the Living Color cover.
I do, but I mean, I still like this song, the Talking Heads version here. Hey man, it is hard not to hear when you know a song from a cover. It is hard to kind of listen back. I think rarely do I hear a cover and like the song and then go to the original and think it's better. I think it's just kind of
whatever you hear first is usually going to be the thing you gravitate towards.
Which that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But the fact that I still enjoyed it as a song, I think says enough about it.
Let's see if maybe side 2 we can get some more full song appreciation from you.
Let's give it. I like the titles for the rest here. So.
Yeah, well, the next song.
Fear of Air.
Air. Now you're wishing I did give you that Chicken Head album.
Yeah, Chicken Head, my favorite super group.
Yeah, I think I always call it that.
All right, this song is throwing a lot of things at the wall, and maybe half of it is sticking. Okay, I like that kind of transition to get to the same section twice. That's fine. I do like this part. I just really wish it was not followed with that bullshit section, the verse. Like, little repetitive 2-chord thing, but it's interesting for sure. In a good way. And then you get some Halloween spooky season stuff.
And I can tell you don't like the verses on this album.
And then this chorus is just very underwhelming in comparison. Let's just... it's first part is just give me 2 chords that are crunchy together, and then this is give me 2 chords that are boring together. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Solo. Minute-long solo to end it? Question mark? Not really adding a whole lot, but definitely not taking away. Piano comes through, I like that it's not just doing the Josh Homme, the I want to be your dog thing. Okay, yeah, so now that was a tough one. That was a painful one. The verses I actively disliked. But that main section and the outro there, that was pretty cool. I liked how they developed it too. Like, so the ending, it sounds like they switched. So when I said like the guitar solo, I didn't realize it at first, but it sounds like they got rid of the chords and they just did the lead. Which is cool because then it wasn't as abrasive for when they, did it for a long jam at the end. They developed it. It didn't feel like just we're doing the same exact thing as before. I feel like they embraced it without just being like, hey, here's 2 really crunchy chords together. Yeah, sorry I was talking over the song a little bit. I guess I just got a little upset. The verses, I mean, it does like that spooky thing, which I mean, I think spookies can be cool for sure, but it just didn't really hit for me. It, yeah, I don't know. And then the what I'm gonna call the chorus kind of had like two parts to it. I did like it. It's just when it comes into it, it just feels so bland in comparison. I feel like structuring the song that way didn't benefit that section. I thought it looped into itself nice, but
So basically, the song consisted of parts that you didn't like, and when it got to a new part, you're like, it pales in comparison to the previous part, which you also didn't like.
yeah, it's just like the two extremes. And there's parts in the song where they blend those well, but there's parts where it's just not. It's not really enjoyable to me. Now,
And I disagree, but I mean, maybe this will be a grower. I hope because this is one of my favorites. Okay,
I kind of feel
well,
like all these songs are kind of like they don't. I'm not saying they all sound the same, but
they're
I
just
don't
doing a
know.
lot of things you don't like. That's like the one trope that they all have is they're all doing things that you don't particularly love.
Yeah, and I mean, all right. I'm not gonna complain right now. Let's get to heaven here. I do like how they hold that one chord out a little bit longer. Small detail, but it adds. That's another good little chromatic run. I just appreciate that one. This song sounds so bland in comparison. I did ask for something
You
different.
asked for a
I
ballad.
did.
You asked for a palate cleanser, and now you're instantly regretting it.
I am. I will own up to that. It's sort of like this is just kind of one of those like kind of dreadful songs. Like it just feels like just drags on. The performance isn't particularly inspiring. Yeah, I mean that was just kind of a boring song. I tried to, as you would say, let it take me, and it did not. It just kind of felt like I don't know, like maybe it was like a little bit too slow. It just felt kind of uninspired to me.
I
Like
feel
the
like you're
performance. I mean the vocals. He did kick it up at the end of the notch. So I appreciate that. And I do like the closing line for sure. I mean I guess he says it in all the choruses, but the heaven is a place where nothing happens, nothing ever happens. It is kind of a nice, kind of darker tone to the music, which is kind of a little more neutral, I would say. I do kind of like when there's kind of like extra dark lyrics in something that's maybe not even that musically dark. Kind of. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive here, all right?
I don't know. I feel like you said earlier you know my taste, but I feel like with the last like five albums I'm giving you, you not a lot of nice things to say about a lot of them. I feel like at the best
No.
you've
They're
been
just not my
indifferent.
taste. They're just not my taste.
True, but I feel like lately I have actually been able to pick out more things in the albums you give me that you enjoy than the other way around.
I mean, I guess we just know who's got better taste, man. Enough said.
Or who has a better listening ear.
Really, really. Hey, I am appreciating a lot of these bold risks they're taking, but they took no bold risk on that last one.
Well, these next two songs are only going to be bold risk. Starting with the next track, Animals.
My possibly my favorite Pink Floyd album. LOL. I have this little kind of hip hop sample drum thing going on. How did they make that transition work? What are the animals doing to this guy? Clearly, him and I are having different experiences with animals. That transition, I like that transition a lot. Still a stupid lead with the chromaticism on the right, but I can handle it here. I don't like this verse, though. It's in 7/4 as well. I like 7. I can't wait to see the delivery of these next lines. I like the music a lot in this section. I like how the vocals are kind of building in layers. Actually, how everything's building. All right, that one was had some of the highest highs on the record, but also that verse
The lowest lows.
I dislike that verse a lot. I was not a fan, but I like the chorus part, even though it was a little bit weird for sure. It's kind of like the little chromatic lead, but I actually like that a bit more than was it track 2 that also had a chromatic lead that I wasn't a fan of. That outro, I really liked the build of it. The delivery kind of exceeded expectations, but it went on a little long. I didn't like how much louder and how kind of intimate it felt. Like I felt like he was kind of breathing on me, and I don't want this guy talking about nuts and berries breathing on me and telling me about how animals are hairy.
What about berries and cream?
Berries. I mean, we're making progress with that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I do appreciate how dramatic it was. Makes me kind of think about how you mentioned on the Porno for Pyro's record, that song "Pack in 25," where just basically like a guy talks to him and then he freaks out and stuff. And on this one, this guy's just wigging out about dogs and shit. Yeah, I mean, it had high highs, but the low was pretty low in the verses. Outro, I think if you maybe chilled out on the vocals a little bit, maybe didn't repeat it for the whole entire thing, or maybe just made them a little more subtle, I would have appreciated that. But that's definitely a small nitpick there.
I
In the
don't.
grand
I'm
scheme.
gonna call it now. I mean, there's only 2 songs left, but I do not think we're gonna get a song that you like all of it. Like at least with the Spoon album, there was one song where I feel like you enjoyed everything about it. Trouble Comes Running, you enjoyed. I was not expecting this to be the album where you have so many
Concerns.
yeah, so many hangups.
Yeah, I'm getting
Uh,
hung up on some of these.
so let's see if electric guitar is one that you can digest a little better. Let's find out.
Breaking the fourth wall. He's self-aware. Fretless bass? I am afraid of tuning electric guitars sometimes.
I hate it when you're
More chromatic running up. Huh?
I hate when you're tuning it when you're like putting new strings on it. I'm afraid of them breaking.
Yeah, you don't get hit in the eye. I like that arpeggiator on like keyboard part. Once again, only like maybe half the chords are landing for me. What was going on with was the panning moving?
Brian Eno, I think maybe slipped on the control panel when he was mixing this.
Yeah, it felt too subtle to be. I don't know. All right. The little sound effect in the back is kind of cool. I mean, the bass is kind of going off though. Game recognizes game. Like the bass is so good here. It's a damn shame the song ain't better. Real quick, I appreciate how these songs are kind of ending different. I do appreciate
Yeah,
that.
they're not always like fade out, you know.
Yeah, I know, or maybe they fade out on a different section, like some of them have.
Yeah.
I know, maybe I didn't really hang on too much, but I kind of was wondering how repetitive some of these songs would be, kind of from the beginning. But they're actually changing up structures and stuff a lot, so I do appreciate that.
You just don't love what they're changing to.
Not necessarily, and this might be my least favorite. It just felt the most dissonant, and then like his vocal hook was not that catchy. Just kind of the way he says someone controls electric guitar is just not very interesting to me. The bass line was great though. It was cool. It sounded kind of like a fretless, kind of. I don't know. But
See, this one I'm okay with you not loving. I'm not okay
like,
with you
when
not.
would you put this song on? When would you put this one on? When would you put the last one on?
Actually, the last one I actually really enjoy. I will admit it's not one that you would think could be enjoyed by anyone, but I really like the whole like weird narrative against animals, and I really love the outro.
He's in it for the animal narrative.
This one is probably my least favorite on the album. I will say this album doesn't, for me, end the best. I won't say it's front loaded because I really like Air. I like Heaven a lot. I like Animals a lot. I just like the last 2 on this album aren't my favorite.
What Watch the
But
last song be my favorite, just in spite.
well, with the way this reaction's been going, I'm kind of expecting it.
But
Yeah,
why don't we see if we finish strong with what looks like the longest song at 5 minutes?
drugs?
I like this, yeah. Like it's like sparse enough and like kind of like call and answer between them enough where it draws me in and then it kind of slows down. I think this is hella fun. Nice, cool modulated guitar. What's that? Okay, I like that. Okay, cool. I like the progression. Kind of subtle with how they're orchestrating it. Sorry.
See, this used to be my least favorite, so I shouldn't be surprised this is like one of your favorites.
This is dope. That was hype. Tell me if it does this for the next 3 minutes. Like, I like the performance on it too. You can like hear the detail and the little nuances in the playing. See, I feel like a lot of these like I mean, I know this is like 79 records, so it feels weird to say like samples or sound effects. I kind of hate using those terms, but I feel like they're really well placed. Little frog transition to solo. Kind of bullshitty, but there's good little melodic bits in there. The bullshit is, you know, kind of like melodic as well. I'm a fan. See, I feel like he's bringing in the strummy strums, and it's working good there. He's filling out that space. You think I'm bullshitting you, bro? I swear to God, this is by far the best song.
God damn.
Like, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Like, I think the biggest thing would just be it is repetitive. It is 5 minutes of this. But I think it feels like a performance. It doesn't just feel like we're just playing, same vibe the whole time. I like the chords in them. I think all the chords worked for sure. I like the space in the song. I feel like we had mentioned with David here singing that some of his songs, maybe the lyrics could maybe be whatever. Maybe they don't make the most sense, but it's about kind of the lines that stick out and how he says it. And I think this one has those type of lines in there. I mean, I'm charged up. I'm kind of wooden. I mean, like, that definitely gets my attention.
So, like, okay, based on your reaction to all of these songs, I will say you're not necessarily contradicting yourself because, like, the reasons you gave for not liking the other songs does make sense that you like this one, because this is like my second least favorite on the album. And it kind of goes with what I said earlier, which is if you like a groove of a song a lot, you kind of don't care if they do it for like 5 or 6 minutes long, which is kind of on the longer end of a song.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here, where like I could have 5 or 6 minutes of Life During Wartime because I love that groove so much, where you didn't dislike it, but you didn't enjoy it as much as I did. So when it stays that same for like a 4-minute track, you're kind of like, it's okay.
Well, even better example would be Heaven. Like, I just was not gelling with it, and it was kind of slow, so those 4 minutes felt like...
See, I think this song is incredibly slow.
This one is slow, but I just thought it was a little bit more interesting.
And I can see why you think that. And I definitely... But see, like, this to me kind of just sounds like fucking around in the studio a little bit. I will say, too...
I'm okay with that.
It's like I totally get why I get how these lyrics fit with the song, because it definitely sounds like the song is about someone on drugs, but I just feel like there's so many other songs about that where I feel like it's one of the least interesting songs lyrically, but I get how they fit.
I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of mentioned, like, I think you had made the case that the performance, it kind of makes a lot of these songs lyrically for you, and I think that I would say that applies to drugs on this record. I mean, I'm not gonna act like maybe some of the other lyrics are a little bit better, or I'm not saying Paper's better. But like Cities and stuff, like I think he's exploring more of an actual maybe concept, so you can say maybe it's stronger in that regards. But bro's charged up, electricity.
In this video, we'll be back in like 2 seconds. to hear your final thoughts on the Talking Heads album, Fear Music. All right, Tony, you've had some more time now to listen to this Talking Heads album, Fear of Music. Based off your reaction, I don't have a great feeling that this album grew on you, but maybe you'll surprise us. Did this album change for you at all?
For sure, it did.
Oh, okay,
It
okay,
did.
nice, nice.
I don't want to say that I was too harsh in the sense of I was trying to attack the album.
You were.
Uh, anyway, that's not neither here or there. But no, actually, a lot of the songs did grow on me. I'll say right off the bat, electric guitar is my least favorite for sure.
Yeah, okay, that's totally fair. That's valid. That is valid.
I will say, like the bass is insane on that song, but just as listening to it as the experience, it doesn't really do anything for me. And also, I would say Drugs is not my favorite anymore. I think just by the time I got through the album, I think I was just a little burnt out.
And that's exactly
Uh,
those are like my two least favorites, and they're kind of like it sucks because like the last two songs on the album, so it's kind of like this album is like amazing for like 80%, and then the last two songs to me falls off a little bit.
so all right, so kind of like the strongest songs for me would probably be Mind, Paper, Air, Memories Can't Wait. Those ones, Cities too. I ended up liking. I know that one. I think was saying was a bit repetitive, but I do like the vibe enough where that's not an issue for me. I think with my thing with this album, it just took a little bit to get used to kind of like the vibe of it, kind of the direction. It was more progressive and more kind of King Crimson-y, as you'll hear soon enough.
Uh-oh.
But it's a little bit different. I think it took me some time to kind of process why maybe I didn't like this as much as like a King Crimson record. And I think it's because even though there's good performances on Fear of Music, maybe it's not as much of a technical showcase as something like King Crimson or something even more progressive. But I do appreciate that the songs take some risks. I know I had mentioned with Mind, I don't think I liked that chromatic part in the verse. I thought it was a little too self-indulgent.
Yeah, because you like the opening riff, which is my favorite part of the song too, just that little kind of sparkly guitar riff. But then yeah, it does go like in a completely different direction.
Yeah, so I mean, I like still is this a record I would sit down and listen to? Not really, but I didn't mind some of it in the back. Like some of these are playlist songs, I would say for sure.
So
Um,
how do you compare it to Remaining Light then? I mean, I know Remaining Light's not an album that you probably put on as much as I do, but that was the other Talking Heads album that you are a big fan of, and you definitely know it more than like Speaking in Tongues.
yeah, I mean, I think what I prefer about Remain in Light is I think some of the hooks are a little bit stronger, and I also like the vocal performances a lot more. Now because I don't know all of Talking Heads' career and David Byrne's performances, I don't really have much of a comment about his whole career or anything like that.
Yeah.
But for me, this album versus Remain in Light, I think the performances are a lot better for vocals on Remain in Light. I also think too, it's like 8 songs. It's a little bit shorter. I think each song kind of has more of its own identity, or at least for me so far. Kind of picking them out, differentiating them. Um, Also going back to kind of the individual songs, Animals. I still dislike the verses, but I like the rest of it. And the ending, as ridiculous as it is pretty entertaining. So I am
Yeah,
okay with the ending.
the ending is like way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, it should not be as good as it is, but it's a pretty good ending. So, yeah, I mean, also I think the production too is something that kind of held it back a little bit for me.
Mr. Brian Eno.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say I'm necessarily an Eno fan. Like, I feel like I haven't heard enough of his records and to, I don't know. Once
Well, I
again, make another
mean,
comment on that.
Heroes,
Oh, did he? Okay.
Octoon Baby,
All right, all right. I mean, those are good. Those are good records.
and then I believe Remaining Light too. I think that was like his last. I think that was the last one he did with Tucking Heads. I might be wrong though. I'll let myself out if I'm wrong.
Yes.
So I'm curious. Would you want another Talking Heads album down the road? I will say this: probably should have gone with their second album, More Songs About Buildings and Food. One, because I now knowing your preference, I think you'll like actually really enjoy that album. But actually, just like yesterday, they announced like a massive box set reissue of the album with like bonus songs and a
Really?
live concert. So I was like, damn, I picked the wrong album. So, but yeah, would you want another Talking Heads album down the road?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there was definitely interesting stuff on Favorite Music. Like, I wouldn't say it was a bland album. I mean, that does probably why Heaven isn't my favorite from it. It's just a little bit
That
bland.
yeah, that is way more the most down the middle.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad song or anything, but it just didn't do much for me. But I think there's a lot of cool things on here, and and I do like songs from Maiden Light and Speaking in Tongues, so I think there will be more for me. I just think maybe collectively as an album, this just wasn't my favorite.
I think that's fair. Well, I appreciate you, giving it a couple more listens and being able to take some, more songs from the album that, you enjoy a little bit more now than you did on a first listen. That's always good. And yeah, I mean, I think that'll do it for this episode. Next week, it'll be your turn, your pick. And I already feel like I know where you're going with it, with some hints you've given me, some not so subtle hints. So I am afraid for my life. But you'll have to stay tuned for next week to see what Tony actually gives me. So till then, we hope you take care, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye bye.